Hey, how's it going? So this is going to be a video of me trying to sell you on one of our two offers, but it's also going to drop some sauce on our $1 billion strategy and why we've worked with such large accounts and some evidence of that as well too. So this is going to be the secret sauce, but also the offers and who this is for in the first place. So I'm going to start with who this is for in the first place, so this makes sense for you to kind of get some context. So this is ideally, we have a done for you and a done with you process. And this is for business owners that are making over $50,000 a month as the done for you process. The done with you process is in a private group that I'll cover later in the video. So anyways, let's jump into the secret sauce and kind of go through what makes us different from all the other marketers and how we have a $1 billion strategy with evidence and proof of that as well too. So the first thing that we want to cover is a lot of times people look at the wrong metrics. So beginners look at ROAS. And what I mean by that is that ROAS is return on ad spend, and it's not necessarily based on actual results. It's based on attributed results. And so what that means is that it's going to prioritize or look better for the most easily attributed platform. So what I mean by that is that you might have your high impact ad showing a really low ROAS, and then your branded search campaign showing a really high ROAS, and people will prioritize the branded search. Now, that's an obvious example, but it comes into the play as well, where you might say, I have one ad that's spending the majority of budget, and then I have another ad that's spending like a small portion of the budget. The one that's spending a small portion of the budget is getting a really high ROAS, whereas the one that's spending the really high amount of the budget is getting a bad ROAS. People tend to pause the bad ROAS ad, and they don't really understand why they're doing it. They just think, oh, ROAS is, not good, pause. Not the right thing to do. Probably one of the worst things to do. And so to kind of give some more emphasis on this is that ROAS is an attribution-based metric. And when you use attribution-based metric, they're not accurate and they become flawed. The reason why they become flawed is because ROAS tends to be based off of click data and not total data or impression data, and even the click data is not accurate. So this is just a user journey example from a tool like Northbeam that just will attribute click attribution somewhat well, not really super well. We don't actually use these tools anymore to better attribute and say, okay, this came from this ad, then it went to this ad. So you can see here, we have a search campaign, went over to direct 6 times, went back to search, went over to direct, and you kind of get the point here is that people, when they go through a journey, they can go on multiple different pages and kind of jump across all the different platforms. Now, this is also to say that every journey is unique, and so some weeks might have really good ROAS, some weeks might have really bad ROAS, and so we don't like to look at ROAS, we like to look at a P&L sheet. That's our end result goal, is to look at the P&L and track lag time to see what your overall growth is and push towards more new customers, not repeat customers. So here's some secret sauce. So we use one of two tools. So we've moved away. So we do not use like tools like Northbeam. We do not use attribution tools like Northbeam, Triple Whale. High ROAS is awful. Wicked Reports is okay, but we tend to not use those tools because it doesn't solve the actual problem of your business. It just gives us visualization as to what it thinks is going on, and it actually misleads more people than actually it does more harm than good, is really what I'm trying to say. It causes a lot more confusion, and it makes things a lot more complicated than they need to be. And so the reason why we use tools like Blotout or Audience OS is because we can better attribute or better import in conversions to train the algorithm to go in the right direction. So typically what we see is that a platform is either underreporting or overreporting. An example would be, this right here where we have Blotout that was importing only new customers, a little secret sauce there, versus a purchase campaign. And the purchase campaign or the purchase conversion action is only getting about 700, and then we have 654 here, and then 567 here. Whereas then we see the actual new customer conversion action getting 3,466 people, which is kind of insane. Now, this is also only new customers, so we're not even counting the return customers in this calculation versus this one here. However, I do want to highlight that this is an extreme example. This is not going to be in every single account. The whole point of me just showing you this is that there is a discrepancy between data, and the reason we use these tools is that they track data a lot better than tools like Elevar or any of the standard server-side tracking tools out there. So we like to use Blotout or Audience OS because they have edge tagging capabilities. enough of my nerd talk though after that. So okay, so if you're like, hey, Caden, all this sounds great, but who the heck are you? I don't have evidence of you doing any of this, and you're just one of those gurus that's just blowing steam kind of thing. You can check out our YouTube channel. It's literally called CProGrowth, and we have proof on here every single week. And we literally, I don't know any other company or any other YouTuber that does this, where we'll literally go through and we'll say, okay, here's the ad account, here's our theory, here's the change, here's what happened in the ad account when we did that change, here's the end result on the actual back end of the business, whether it's Shopify or a CRM tool. We literally walk you through that step every single week. So there's wins every single week. There should be no question whatsoever. We do it live. We also have a live Q&A every single week as well, where we can ask or answer any questions that people have. So it's very, very, very as transparent as possible to make sure that you guys see exactly what we're doing. So if you're also here for some secret sauce, you can go and get more on the YouTube channel. Now, if you're like, hey, I don't fully want to nerd out on this, I just want to see the general theories and concepts and see if they resonate with my business, you can check out my other channel here that is Caden Thompson or Caden Thompson Marketing, where I go over the theories that are in the, or I guess the results more so, in the other channel, and then give it kind of a general packaging to make it a lot easier to understand in more of a bullet point fashion. So yeah, that's us in a nutshell. Now, if you are wanting the done with you, not done for you process, we do have a school group. Our school group, it's spelled SKOOL. That's the actual app that we use. And then our name on that app is called Digital Scale. The price has gone up, so it's no longer $100 a month. It is now up to $200 a month, and we are well over 137 members now. So this is going to be more for people that want to kind of learn and do it themselves, or they're very low in terms of the ad spend that they have and they don't really want to pay for an agency. They're still kind of in the trenches themselves. This is where we have weekly Q&As. So we actually do a Q&A about 4 times a week. So I do my Q&A, or I have a small Q&A, 30 minutes on Mondays. We do our lives on YouTube, which we prioritize a school group. Q&As on Tuesdays, and then our Wednesdays are with John, 1 hour back and forth, and then we have another 1 hour with me on Thursdays. So it's pretty hands-on, pretty huge value when it comes to that. We typically charge around like $1,000 to $1,500 per hour for one-on-one consulting, and so you get discounts on that as well in the school group, but you also get it in a group setting where you can ask questions and get answers to your account. So kind of cool if you are in the more with the done with you moment, not the done for you. But anyways, jump back to the done for you. So the biggest thing that I see a lot of people do, a lot of agencies do, is that they lock you in to a period of time. They say, okay, sign this contract. We got them for 3 months. Now we have 3 months of cash flow. Let's jump to the next, and we're not going to focus on your business. And I hate that. I think it's a bad way of doing this. It's a partnership, and so what that means is we need to earn your business again and again and again, and it should be that simple. And so we do a month to month, meaning that you just pay once for the pay cycle, and then you're locked in for the pay cycle, and then you just jump to the next pay cycle. So it's every like 30 days or the first of the month. It kind of just depends on the deal, but we have no locked in like 3 month or 6 month or whatever it is contracts beyond that. Also, really key point here is that all of our account managers are managing both Google and Meta ads, so they know both platforms really well, and they also do that in order to better tailor the overall omnichannel mix towards the P&L results, because you can have something change on Meta affect Google and vice versa. So it's okay if you're just wanting to hire just for Google and you have someone else doing Meta or vice versa. That's fine. The main idea behind this is just that we just need to make sure that we're both aligned towards the P&L goals, so we can make sure that we can obviously get you the best results. We also say that we also want you to meet the manager before you sign on, if you want. It's more so a question for you, because typically what happens in the agency space is that people will be really good on a sales call, and it'll be like a strategist or something like that, a salesperson, and they'll sound really great, they'll sound like they know what they're talking about, and then they hand you over to a beginner or someone that's more like newbie, I guess you can say, and so you don't really feel as confident that you're getting the best help that you can possibly manage. But this kind of solves that, where you get to meet your manager before you actually sign on, so there's no smoke and mirrors when it comes to that. And then we also have $0 build fees. We think that building is just the part of the business, so why would you charge for build fees? I think it's stupid. And then we also want to make sure that we're aligned on P&L traffic optimization. So we're optimizing traffic towards improving your P&L. If your ROAS drops from a 1000x to a 1x, I don't care as long as your P&L is going up. We're happy. That is the end result goal. If we are concerned about dropping from a 1000x ROAS to a 1x ROAS, we're not a good fit for you. It's just that simple because we do not look at ROAS, we look at P&L. Omni-channel efficiency I already kind of touched on, but that's just making sure that all the platforms are playing nice with one another. Google is affecting Meta in the right way, Meta is affecting Google in the right way, and Bing and all the other channels. And then we also focused on year-over-year growth. So this is also a really important factor, is that people will get misled on results getting better when it's just Q4 or if it's just like a seasonal shift, right? Like if I'm selling a hammock, I'm going to sell a hammock a lot better in summer than I am in winter. So we want to make sure that we're aligned on those year-over-year growth goals and not just the month-to-month, because that is a factor for a lot of businesses. Not every business, but for a lot of businesses. And then the other thing as well too is that we do not want to overpromise. So when it comes to overpromising, a lot of people will blow smoke and they'll just say, oh my gosh, we can get you a 20x ROAS. Here's the evidence of it. Here's the proof. And they kind of try to play around that. We try to keep things as honest as possible when it comes to that, and that'll be done in the audit itself. We also have a brand recognition to keep up with, meaning that if you don't get good results from us, then it makes our brand look bad. So we want to make sure that we're taking on people that actually are aligned with our goals and we're going in the right direction. Now, the last thing that I want to touch on is going towards the percent of ad spend. So this kind of goes into our billing structure. But the goal here is it's really hard to find talent. It's really hard to find account managers that know what they're doing. And so in order to incentivize our account managers to grow and to keep them hired, because like I said, we want to make sure that we're rewarding our good employees, is we charge a 1% fee of ad spend. And that 1% fee, or that's in addition to the contract, but that 1% fee goes directly towards the account manager to make sure that they're actually getting rewarded for the scale that they are doing in the first place. We want to make sure that they're rewarded from an account spend perspective, because that account spend is going to be correlated to your P&L. So we want to make sure that account spend and P&L are in line there. And then there's no, mistrust, I guess you could say, because we're all looking at the same numbers. We're looking at, profitability goes up, ad spend goes up, win-win scenario kind of thing. We're not looking at ROAS and looking at, ad spend going up, profitability going down. So what's the next steps in this process? Where do you go from here? So you go, obviously you're here, you go to the discovery call where we kind of go back and forth. You meet with me. It's about like a 15-30 minute call. Just trying to figure out what you're looking for, what we can help you with, and then if it's good from there, then I will send you a link to get access to the ad accounts. I will do the audit, or Josh will do the audit. Probably about 90% chance it'll be me. And then we do just a general overview of the account just to see exactly how we can help you. The audit's more for us versus you. A lot of people try to sell the audit as like, hey, this is for you to kind of know what you want to do next. But the reality is, you just want to get your account in a better place scenario, and you don't really care as much about the audit, maybe. I mean, you could, but it's mainly for us to better understand exactly what we can do to help to see if we can actually take you on in the first place and improve on the current results. That's, the starting point. Once we approve the audit, we're like, okay, we're good. We see all the information that's laid out and it looks good in terms of what we can do next to help you out. And it'll just be like in a Loom video format. Then we will message you back and you move into onboarding, and then it's just one click, boom, good to go, and we're off running and contract signed, good to go. So that's the general steps. Now, if you've been here this long, you're probably wondering, well, where's the screenshots? So screenshots are here. So we have a $100 million account here. This was in 2023. They're actually, I think they're close to like $400 million now. They've like quadrupled just because of the fact that they have really good LTV. And they've increased 33% over here. This is actually one of the, I think this is like number 17 or 16 in the entire United States for the highest meta ad spend. And we actually have a couple of videos on this that we go over as well on YouTube. So if you think these are made up screenshots, you can also go on our YouTube channel and see all this. We have another one over here, 7 mil, 104% growth, 73 mil. This is a publicly traded company, 94% growth. And then if we go over here, smaller account, 1 mil, 40% growth, 378K, really, really small account. This was kind of earlier on, 380% growth. This is consulting, I believe. And then over here, 91% growth at 5 mil. And then a lot more screenshots that just kind of cover the general consensus of the scale that we can get if we do this properly. So, like I said, a lot of these are just determined based off the business model, but want to give you guys some more insight as to what we are actually able to do. So anyways, if this all sounds great to you, then go ahead and click the link below, schedule a call, and I will see you guys on Discovery Call. And if not, then I'll just see you on our YouTube channels, because all that information is free. So anyways, thanks again, and I will see you guys hopefully later.